Hello, Wonder Teachers, and welcome to another Teacher Spotlight session. Today, we're talking to Mallory Bolen from Pace West School in Prince William County, Virginia. Thank you for joining us today, and we are ready to start with Mallory introducing herself.
My name's Mallory Bolen. I am an instructional technology coach in Prince William County. I work at Pace West. It is a K-12 special education school. And I collaborate with teachers to find new ways to integrate technology into teaching and learning. And so with Robo Wunderkind, that looks like collaborating to figure out how to give our kids access to the robos during both technology time and when we're teaching content. And I collaborate with our elementary and our middle school teachers to incorporate Robo.
Oh, great. So you kind of take it from kindergarten to fifth or sixth grade. Is that
We've
about
actually
the
used
age?
them all the way up with our eighth graders.
Oh,
We've
that's
kind of
really cool.
modified some of the lessons in the library to make it more appropriate for them.
Okay, so you'll take even if it's a second or third grade lesson, and you'll just kind of, how do you modify it? Like, what do you,
So, for example, a few weeks ago, right before spring break, our eighth graders were wrapping up a couple of science units on force, motion, energy. And I know I had seen a unit project in the library related to that. So I met with the science teacher and the math teacher, and we kind of talked about what the standards were in eighth grade, what already aligned well to that, and then kind of creating some additional resources to increase the rigor to that eighth
hmm
grade level. But
hmm
ultimately, the vocabulary was very similar, the activity was very similar. So students spent almost a week and a half investigating how force and motion and energy relate to the mini golf course in the unit
Oh,
project,
cool. Yeah.
and collecting data, coding the robots to hit the golf balls, thinking about how the force of the swing impacted how far the ball went. And then ultimately, we're able to develop a fairly complex mini golf course
Oh,
that we
cool.
then let them code the robots to play, but we also invited our elementary students to come in at the end and play the course as well with the robos. And our middle schoolers were able to kind of explain what they did and their learning and the concepts in a more elementary friendly way to our younger kiddos. And
hmm
everybody had a really good time.
That's great. Is there any examples that you have where you've maybe had to modify lessons to meet the needs of the younger students, especially like you said, with the special needs? Is there anything you've done to kind of make it more accessible to them um, at a
Yeah,
younger age as well?
good question. I think the biggest thing for us is modeling. We're very
Okay.
intentional with our scaffolding. So if we're doing a lesson or an activity, a lot of it will be done together, one step at a time. Our students do very well with having just one or two tasks given to them at a time. And it helps them also to kind of build that confidence. And so then as
Mhm.
they progress through the activity, they kind of start to take on that ownership a little bit more. So I would say modeling and just providing some scaffolds at the beginning. I also like to share with them examples of the completed product, whatever we're going to do with the robo. That helps them a lot as well.
Yeah, I
And the
love
other
that.
thing is really just helping them to develop that persistence.
hmm
Something we work on a lot here is coping strategies and self-regulating. And anybody working on a project at any
Yeah,
age,
right.
if you have a hard
I think
time,
everybody can relate to those, right? Like those are
yeah,
all skills,
yeah,
especially at a young age. I mean, every age, but I think we're all I mean, especially coming back from COVID. I mean, so many kids are struggling with those skills for sure. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. And so we have a lot of really intentional conversations before, during, and after our robo lessons around what does it look like to troubleshoot? And when we get frustrated, what are some strategies we can use to persist? And I have actually found that because our students love robo so much, we see a lot more persistence
Oh, that's
and a
great.
lot more confidence in that troubleshooting than maybe we do sometimes in other areas. So it's a really great opportunity to build those skills that then we can transfer to other areas of school as well.
Yeah, that's awesome that they can kind of learn how to move through those things with something they like to then be able to say, remember
Mhm.
with Robo, you didn't give up or you kept trying. That's cool. I like that.
Right.
I guess, are there any, do you guys have any behavior management? Like, I know some people use like the job cards, or do the kids partner up, or do you have them like one to one? Do you have certain ways that you manage that?
Yeah, so because we are a special education school, our classes are very small. In our
Hmm.
elementary classes, on average, they could be 3 to 7 kids.
Okay.
So for the most part, our students all get to work with their own robo kit, which is really nice. And so as far as behavior management goes, I think the most helpful thing we've done is at the beginning of the year and then throughout the year reiterating the expectations. Robo has really great resources for introducing a lot of those expectations,
Hmm.
videos, posters. And so I share those with my students regularly. And also, again, because they grow to love the Robos so much, they take a lot of personal responsibility. So
Yeah.
when we get new students, I don't really have to go all through my presentation about expectations. I can say, how can we help our new friend understand how we do robo? And I've got every hand going up with, make sure you're holding it with 2 hands. Make sure, it doesn't roll off the table. Make sure you turn your orange block off before you pack up your kit. Like they're so invested that
Yeah.
they end up sharing those expectations with each other. And they
Yeah.
know that they want to keep using robo. So it's important that we take care of them. Even when we're frustrated, we
Mhm.
are very gentle and very kind with our technology.
Yeah.
And so just reiterating those expectations as we're using them throughout the year has probably been most helpful.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, for sure, starting the class, and I love kind of reminding them to be gentle. And we have one teacher that has like a little uh, table or something where she said they can like go and sit for a minute if you're in the midst of a struggle, but just come back, sit and reflect. So yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, our teachers utilize calming corners regularly. So that's definitely a helpful resource in any situation, but
yeah,
including when we're doing robo.
yeah. Well, that's great. Is there anything else that you feel has been helpful, or that people who are maybe like, I don't know where to start, or my kids aren't ready, or their behaviors are out of control, or is there any kind of tip that you would give a teacher kind of just getting started with robo who's maybe a little bit nervous about implementing something like this in their classroom? Because for some of us this is totally new type of learning experience to introduce into your classroom. So is there any tip you would give?
Yeah, and I would just say when we started using Robo at the beginning of the last school year, robots in general were brand new to me. Coding was brand new to me. A lot of what I've learned in the last 2 years has been self-taught, but Robo Wunderkind has made that so easy with their customer support specialists and all the resources. So my biggest tip would be utilize the library of resources online because those activities and lessons are a great starting point when you're not necessarily sure what you're envisioning. Like, you want to incorporate that hands-on technology, but what does that look like if I've never done it? I think that library and curriculum has been so helpful in getting teachers invested because um, there are resources that align to every content area. And I think my teachers were surprised by that. Um, and so I think really leaning on the resources that are provided, both for just the basics, how to use Robo, but also kind of getting started with those activities and lessons makes it feel less overwhelming. And the resources in those lessons really do walk you through step by step what kids are doing. All the resources are there for you, the PowerPoints, the lesson plans. So I think starting there makes it feel a lot more manageable.
That's great. Well, I'm glad that Robo is so so much fun for the kids and that they're learning a lot about a new area, hopefully of robotics and coding, and that we're here to support you. So thank you so much. I wanted for coming on and just sharing what you do in your classroom. I think it's really helpful. Teachers learn best from each other and each other's experiences. And so we really appreciate you sharing your story in your class with
Thank you for letting me.
us.